This week on the podcast, we are venturing into the Conjuring Universe, starting with 2013's The Conjuring. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, where we dissect the good, the bad, and the ugly of your favorite films and film franchises. Today, we are celebrating 10 years of this crazy universe that is the Conjuring Universe. Our first kind of franchise where it's not a continuation of just one thing, but we're going to be venturing into many different spooky things that all somehow link together. But yeah, we're talking about the 2013 The Conjuring.
All right, it's 9:18. We're headed down into the cellar where the door's just opened on its own. Give us a sign that you want to communicate with us. Nothing.
What are you guys?
Well, we've been called ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
But we prefer to be known simply as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
There's someone here that would like to talk to you.
There's something horrible happening in my house.
It's November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. You picking up anything in here, hon?
Something awful happened here, Ed.
What is it?
Whatever Lorraine sees, feels, touches, it takes a toll on her. A little piece each time.
You have a lot of spirits in here, but there's one that I'm most worried about because it is so hateful. Look what she made me do. We have to get out of here.
That's not gonna help.
This thing has latched itself to your family.
Father, we never seen nothing like this.
I'm coming with you.
No way. I can't lose you.
There's a lady in a dirty nightgown that I see in my dreams. She's standing in front of my mom's bed. Do you want to see him?
Yeah?
When the music stops, you see him in the mirror standing behind you.
Look what she made me do.
With my good friends Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Oh!
Yeah, fuck me. I don't need to introduce myself.
No, we know who you are.
I don't know who you
Yeah.
They know who we are too, so.
I
So,
did the intro.
The Conjuring. This is a movie that I've seen many, many times throughout the years. I don't think I saw this in theaters, but I do remember seeing it many, many, many times when it came out on Blu-ray. I actually have my Blu-ray back there that I watched today. And so yeah, that's my history with this franchise. Let's talk a little bit about what your guys' history is with this franchise, because Angela got me all happy with what she had to say before we hit record. So, Angela, why don't you break down your history with this? Well, do you have a history with this franchise, or are you going into this for the first time?
When did we watch this?
2 days ago.
That's my history
There you go.
with
That's
it.
our history. 2 days
Have
ago.
you
We were
seen
told we have
any-
to watch.
Have you seen any of the movies in this franchise? Any of them?
Nope.
Nope.
Wow. All right. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, let's
For somebody.
Do we want to save our thoughts on the movie for the end, like we were going to do, or do you guys want to do it now?
If we're gonna do it on the end like we're supposed to do, we should do it on the end like we're supposed to.
I mean,
if
there's
that's what
no,
you want to switch
Dan, there is no, we're supposed to do anything.
Well, you're the one that talked about want to change it, so I'm good with whatever you all want to do.
But I'm so intrigued to know what Angela's thoughts are on this movie before we even get anywhere.
Like, oh, nobody gives a shit about mine. It's like, you've projected this well.
Well, that's the thing is we were going into this expecting, Dan to have the, I'm waiting for the reaction videos from Angela, but I feel like she's going to be going through the same experiences as Dan. So like, I feel like we're not going to get anything because they're going to be both going through the same shit.
Maybe.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for over 100 episodes. Let's just do it. Let's do it right now.
Do it.
Angela, break it down. What'd you think of this movie?
Dustin picked this, right?
You sure did.
Fuck you, Dustin.
That's a good way to start this. That's a great way to start this.
I hate haunted dolls. So I can't say that I hate haunted dolls, possession, stuff like that freaks me the fuck out. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night, like, still looking around. Like, I would not, our closet's right there. I did not face my back to the closet. I wouldn't even, as soon as it got done, I wouldn't even go in our bathroom down here because I knew I had to turn on the light to see.
There's a mirror.
And there's a mirror in there. I was like, nope.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't do well with those. And I try, as much as I love spooky stuff, poltergeist and possession and stuff like that just freaks me out.
Yet Angela is level 7,500 in a game called Phasmophobia, where she literally hunts things like this. And she wasn't into this. What? You make no sense.
I didn't say that I didn't like it, though. It's
just hilarious that your favorite game to play, the game that you have put the most hours into since I've known you, is a game about hunting all sorts of ghosts.
I said to him, oh, we're watching Phasmo, the movie.
I said that. I was like, look at all this bullshit they're doing. This is the stuff that you do in Phasmophobia. You're like an expert. You're like a double expert at this.
As soon as they started bringing stuff out, he's like, is that how that works? I'm like, well, it's how it works in the game. I don't know in real life. But man. Yeah, no, the acting was very well done. The makeup for scared the shit out of me.
Bathsheba.
But yes. See, growing up in a religious household, we were always told, you can get possessed, super easy by demons.
Boy.
If you let that stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am growing up thinking that if I watch movies with like that I'm letting it into my house. So here I am. I'm like still like looking behind me, running up the steps, looking behind me, making sure there's like no demons chasing me. Yeah. But would I watch it again? No. Was it good? Yes. Still scared the shit out of me. So we won't be venturing back into watching that one again.
Takes a drink.
Ooh,
all right.
It was rough. It was after was rough.
Damn.
Okay. So.
Oh, and I did try and record his reactions. He's like, "You're not getting anything out of me."
Don't face.
I was like, "Okay, so I just won't try anymore."
Nope.
Like, you don't make things fun. You'd have got more out of me than.
Yep. Okay, so Dan, can we get some of her then? We need some content,
I make no promises.
Or Angela, just set up your phone somewhere, just hit record, and just let your phone record you for the entire movie, and then just go back and kind of like, you'll be like, I remember that. I'm going to go back here. Clip it. Or just send me the whole video. I'll find them.
So, to build on what she said, I thought the acting was great. I like the actors. A lot of them I noticed, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
The effects they used for like the makeup and stuff was pretty good. I really like the soundtrack. The actual like music of the era they played. I love that music. I've said before, I grew up listening to that kind of music. It did a good job at doing what it was supposed to do. Mind you, I completely half paid attention to the entire fucking movie. And that's all of these are going to be, so don't expect any different from me. So if you're like, oh, I'm bummed, Dad, like, no, that's what you're getting. I fucking hate movies like this. And it's not the possession angle. I just hate movies that's just jump scares. Ghosts aren't interesting to me, except for 13 Ghosts was the only good ghost movie ever. That even goes for Casper with Bill Pullman. The old one's good, but I'm just not big on ghosts. It just doesn't do stuff for me. I don't really believe in ghosts to begin with. It's just I don't like movies where the whole thing is like we're just gonna scare you in every fucking way possible, just like cheap, loud noises and jump. I don't like that shit. So, yeah, there you go. That's it. It's not a movie for me, and none of these will be.
All right. Yeah, this is going to be a fun, however many weeks it is. I can't remember how many movies are in this franchise.
Like I said, I just half pay attention to it.
Jump scares, though. Like, there was a couple of times I was waiting. Like, I'm like, they're going to do it. And they didn't. I was like,
yeah, that's what they do. Like, it's very, I don't know.
It was high intensity there for a while. Like, the whole hide and go clap or whatever that they played.
Hide and clap, yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, those scenes are real tense. I remember the first time watching this movie and like the scenes of her walking through the house, and then of course when she gets locked in the basement, and you're just like, you see that scene for the first time, you're like, holy shit!
Oh, I was like, don't. Why are you going in the basement? Like, stop!
Yeah.
No.
I haven't told Angela. She's like, oh, when the thing happened in the basement scene you're talking about. I was like, I've seen this. Like, I've seen clips of this before.
I didn't.
It's one of the most probably famous scenes from this movie. Is the
I would agree.
Scene.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Like I said, I love paranormal stuff. It's one of those things where it's like my full-fledged, like, I believe everything that I see when it comes to like paranormal shows and stuff like that. No. I enjoy watching paranormal investigators who actually will debunk stuff and more prove the fact that maybe there isn't a paranormal activity going on somewhere, instead of it always just being, did you hear that? It's probably Bill. He died 35. Like, how the fuck from a noise, bro? Like, let's chill the fuck out. All right. I do believe in ghosts. I do. I've been a huge, I've had my own experiences in life that I've shared. Back when I was streaming, I definitely shared that. I don't know if I've shared that on the show, but yeah, I believe in them. I believe in ghosts. I believe in, paranormal. When it comes to like demon stuff, it's a little bit different because I'm, I don't want to get into religious stuff, but like I'm not one of those kind of people. I don't believe in that stuff. But I do believe in paranormal stuff. Does that make me a hypocrite? I guess you're going to have to let me know in the comments. So I thought this movie was awesome. I thought it was fantastic the way they portrayed paranormal investigation. I really wasn't well versed in Ed and Lorraine Warren. Now I'm a little bit more versed in them. I know some things now that I didn't even know back when this movie came out. But I like the fictional representation of Ed and Lorraine Warren more than I like the stories behind the real Ed and Lorraine Warren. And we'll go a little bit into some of the things, which is all, it's nothing that it's just accusations for certain things when it comes to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real people. We're not going to go too deep into it, but we will mention some things. But let's talk about The Conjuring. It was directed by James Wan. He's the man behind the creation of Saw, along with Lee Wanell.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he's a man who has started many franchises. He started the Saw franchise. He started the Insidious franchise, which came out 3 years before this, which is also a fantastic haunting style film, which also stars Patrick Wilson, who is in this movie, and subsequent sequels down the road.
Is there a new one?
Yes, it just came out. As of this recording, it just came out a couple days ago, which is, I think, the final Insidious movie, which was directed by Patrick Wilson.
Well, see, that's what throws me off, because they're both in these two movies. So, like, when I saw it, I was like, wait, isn't there a new? I was like, no, it's the other franchise.
Well, the crazy thing is Insidious Chapter 2 and The Conjuring came out in the same year, which both starred Patrick Wilson. Like, in substantial parts of the movie. It wasn't like Patrick Wilson was like in the movie in Insidious Chapter 2 for 5 minutes. Like he's in the majority of that movie and then the majority of this movie. And they're both directed by James Wan. So those two guys were really busy and they were hanging out with each other probably most of that year, which is just crazy to think about. I was like, going back, because I wasn't sure when this movie had come out. And then I saw it was 2013. I was like, I just went through the Insidious movies because I'm planning on going to see the new one. And I was like, 2013? That is insane. How do you do that? But you also look at like how long these movies actually take to make, and it's not that long if you think about it. It's usually only a couple months. Which
that's
I guess
kind of how horror movies seem to be for the most part.
I mean, and to be honest, I mean, this franchise would get more money as it would go because it would rake in a lot of money. This movie only had a $20 million budget, which is pretty low, I would say.
Yeah, for nowadays. I'm thinking like years ago. I'm still, because we usually cover movies. $20 million.
Yeah. Like holy shit, that's like 200 now.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really low budget. I mean, mainly most of it's probably your actors.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
But the thing is like, if you look at the cast, I think Lily Taylor is probably the most like well-rounded actor, like prominent actor in the movie. Like she has been around for a long, like Patrick Wilson, to be honest, I don't really remember, like, I mean, people could probably point things out to me, but like, I don't know much of his work before Insidious, which came out in 2010.
He was Night Owl, dude.
He was in Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that's right. He was in Watchmen, which came out in 2009. You're right. God damn.
And
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
Was that the was that the Gerard Butler one? Okay.
It was 2004. He was Rowan.
I don't.
Yeah. He was in Watchmen. I don't know how I forgot. I think it was just more of like I knew he was in Watchmen, but I didn't remember. I forgot what year it was. So yeah, he was in Watchmen in 2009. He was in a movie called Hard Candy in 2005.
It's Aquaman. He was an Aquaman.
Yeah, we're getting there. That's
I'm just saying.
It's another James Wan movie, by the way. Yeah. So, but back to James Wan. I mean, he has cemented himself as a true, like, I mean, he is a legendary horror actor. I mean, most of his career is horror movies, with the extent of the seventh entry in the Fast and Furious, which was the last movie that Paul Walker worked on, which was the only Fast and Furious movie I ever saw in theaters because of the fact it was the last Paul Walker movie. And then he directed Aquaman. But I mean, throughout his career, he would do Saw, he would do Dead Silence, which is a movie that's kind of usually ranked on the bottom of his filmography, but I love that movie. It's one of those like haunted dummy movies, which is a good time.
Yeah, not anything you'd actually. I heard that movie's wasn't too bad. I don't think.
No, and they just released I think Scream Factory just released a 4K version of it, which I plan to snag when it's not $38. But yeah, he's done a lot of work. He directed, let's see, he did Death Sentence, which was a remake. I don't know if it was a remake or if it was like a sequel to Death. You remember the old Death Wish movies with
yes,
with was it
Charles Bronson?
Charles Bronson, yeah.
Yes,
that
baby.
was so Death Sentence was like a sequel to those movies. It was like Kevin Bacon played his character. I really liked that. Kevin Bacon, and it had John Goodman. It had Garrett Hunlin from Tron Legacy. I really enjoyed that.
It just seems like Kevin Bacon playing not Pierce. God, fuck! I lost his name. I just blanked his name. You know what I'm talking about. But playing his character from that franchise, like it just doesn't. Like I'm sure it's fine. It's just like in my mind, I can't.
Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, he would go. His latest movie that came out in 2022 is *Malignant*.
Oh,
which is a movie that has kind of been split down the middle between people who really enjoy that movie and people who just don't like it. And I have been on the don't like it side, but I've only seen it once, so I'm hoping to rewatch it, maybe for the show, to maybe push myself over the like. And I do have a guest plan for that episode because Dustin from the Baron's Hideout podcast is like loves that movie, so.
Okay.
I already have a future plan for a guest spot for him there. But he's also directing the new Aquaman, which I just don't care. I don't care.
You care?
I don't care.
Nobody cares.
But he's been an executive producer on like 8,000 things in his career. He's an executive producer on the new Mortal Kombat series. He just did Megan. He's doing all the pretty much anything that's related to this franchise he's a part of. He's supposedly a executive producer for the Salem Lot remake that's supposed to be coming out sometime. He does a lot of writing, mostly for the franchises he's already started. But yeah, he's a busy guy. But in horror, I think is the genre he is most famous for, and I think he does the best work, in my opinion. These mega blockbusters, the director usually just disappears from those movies where you're just like, hey, who directed that again? Oh yeah, because it looked like every other superhero movie. That's right. That's why I forgot it was James Wan, because it didn't feel like a James Wan movie, other than the fact it's like, oh yeah, Patrick Wilson's in Aquaman because he's worked with James. Whatever. This was written
James Wan's guy.
Right. This was written by Chad Hayes and Carrie Hayes, which are twins, by the way. I figured that out while watching the special features for this movie.
Good to know.
Yep. I guess this was an idea that was thrown around all the way back to, I think, like 2008. And they just couldn't get anyone to sign on for it. A movie in 2009 called The Haunting in Connecticut came out, which is a case that the Warrens investigated, but I don't think they're mentioned in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in years, but this would be the first one where a case from the Warrens would actually have the Warrens in them. But yeah, there's some really crazy things about the Warrens that came out way after this movie came out, and like I said, it's all speculation, it's all accusations. It's not anything I'm gonna be like, they did this. But supposedly, Ed was not very faithful to Lorraine. There was some weird relationship he had with like a 15-year-old girl back in the 60s. She actually lived with the family for a bit. It's a weird thing. And of course, I mean, other than that, which is bad enough, a lot of their cases have been debunked, and a lot of it, I think, people just assume that they made the big deals about all their cases because they just wanted to be famous and they just wanted to be out there. And they were probably one of the most famous paranormal investigators of all time. Their organization, which they started back in 1952, is still the oldest paranormal organization in the country, which is and it's still running today, even though Lorraine died back in 2019 and Ed died in 2006.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. And she was heavily involved in this, but there was also speculation that there was a contract, there were certain things in the contract for this movie that they couldn't depict certain things, which made the Warrens look like they were the most loving couple in the world. And to be honest, that's why I like to envision these characters as fictional, even though the events of this movie supposedly happened. And all the Perrin family, that's all their real names. They didn't change anyone's names for the sake of the movie. Those were all the real names of the family. Also, they changed the look of the house too. The actual Conjuring house was it looked more like a ranch style farmhouse instead of the 2-story farmhouse. You can actually go there. I don't know how to actually go to you can, I guess, if you can make appointments to go walk through the house. A podcast I listened to, a really good podcast called Friday the 13th horror podcast. They actually did their 100th episode on New England horror. And one of them was, they actually covered this movie, which is a couple episodes ago for them as of this recording. And they actually went through the Conjuring house. So cool. It's pretty cool. So make sure to go listen to episode 100 of the Friday the 13th horror podcast, because it's fantastic. And they actually talk about their experiences going through the actual house.
I'll just live through them.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into the complete history of the Conjuring house and all the events, because they actually, the things they talk about in this movie are pretty close to the actual history of the house itself. So yeah, we'll just talk about that when we get through the plot. So this movie starts Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine Warren. For anyone who, she's been in a lot of stuff. For me, it was The Departed. It was Bates Motel. That's what kind of cemented her into my mind. She's been in so many movies throughout her career.
So
Godzilla.
Yes.
Yeah, Godzilla.
Can't forget Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Yeah.
Yes. Admittedly, though, I recognize her from stuff like this when I worked at the movie theaters because she was just in a lot of horror movies in this era, like that I remember. So
she was in a movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which is probably the most depressing fucking movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll pass hard on that one.
It's and she was in Hawkeye. She was in a few episodes of Hawkeye. She played Kate Bishop's mom.
Are you looking at her filmography right now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, she was in The Orphan, which obviously
you
covered.
Right. Jesus Christ.
I seen that on there. I was like, wait a minute.
Movies that we've actually covered on this show that had her in it, right? Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Orphan. We have Patrick Wilson, who plays Ed Warren. Like I stated, he is in the Insidious franchise, directing the latest film, Insidious: The Red Door. He was in Aquaman. He was actually in, was it Prometheus, right? He was the flashback of, what the hell was her name? The main character's dad. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
And he had that really bad British accent he tried.
Yes, yes.
I like Patrick Wilson. I think he's really good and everything he's in. So we have Ron Livingston, who I think most people will see him and go, Office Space.
Yeah. I remember some other stuff, but for sure, Office.
He was in Band of Brothers, Swingers.
Yep.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, which is a TV show on HBO.
There's a show, one of your shows you watched. He's in. I can't think of the fucking show it is.
So I know a lot of people mistake him for one of the Dumas brothers or Dubas brothers. Oh God, remember that? Have you ever heard the movie Creep?
Sure.
The guy who's in that, I feel like people mistake him for that dude because they kind of look similar. Mark, is it Mark Duplass? I think that's his name. People can yell at me in the comments.
I maybe mix him up with that dude.
Yeah,
because I don't see anything that I'm watching.
Okay, sorry. It's something older you've watched in the past. No, I could be thinking of something else.
We have Lily Taylor, who I remember seeing a long time ago. My mom showed me Mystic Pizza, and let's see. I'm trying to think of what have I seen with her in it. Oh, she was in Rudy in 1993. She was in The Haunting, which was the precursor to The Haunting. Haunting a Hill House. She was in the original one, which was directed by Jan de Bont, who directed Twister. She was in Public Enemies, which was the John Dillinger movie with Johnny Depp. She's been in a lot of stuff. Eli, she was in Leatherface. Jesus Christ, one of the many Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels. Oh Lord!
Now you've got me thinking. Like, what am I watching?
Somebody
that looks like him in it.
All right, we're gonna go through the kids cast, but I'm not gonna look at everything that they've been in. But we're gonna talk about Shanley Caswell as Andrea, who played the oldest daughter. We have Haley McFarland as Nancy. Joey King, who is probably the one that I see and go, I know her because I've seen her in a lot of stuff. She was in Dark Knight Rises and many, many other things. I mean, that's not what she's most well known for, but that's what I remember her from. She played Christine. We have Mackenzie Foy as Cindy. We have Kyla Dever as April. Shannon Cook as Drew, which was the guy that helped Ed and Lorraine. It was like the younger guy. John Brotherton as Brad, who was the cop, who was so out of place in this movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and Sterling Gerrans as Judy Warren, who was the daughter. And this is a crazy one. The composer of this movie and many, many movies in this franchise, Joseph Bishara, also played Bathsheba. And he would play the red-faced demon in all of the Insidious movies that have that character. He literally, if you look up he's a composer. He literally, if you've ever seen Insidious and then you listen to the music from this, you're like, yeah, it's definitely the same guy. It's just like that loud string work and it's just so intense. But he's done pretty much all of the movies in this franchise except for The Nun. And I think it's Annabelle Creation, which is the second Annabelle movie. But he's done all the Insidious. He's pretty much done most of James Wan's movies, starting with Insidious. He actually did the music for Insidious: The Red Door. But when you look at his acting credits, this is his acting credits. So in 2010, he would be the lipstick face demon in Insidious. Then in 2013, he was Bathsheba. Then, yeah, it's literally demon, crone, demon, night hag, demon. That is his credits.
Sure. I mean, you got to make a living other than music, all right?
Hey, I mean, to be honest, he makes those demons look good, you know? This movie was released July 15th, 2013 in Cinerama Dome, and then July 19th, 2013 in the U.S. So we're actually, as of this recording, we're only 10 days out from its 10-year anniversary, which is...
Yeah!
That wasn't planned, everybody, okay? I've been planning significant anniversary movies to cover on... Shut up, Dan. This one was not planned. This was just how it worked out.
We didn't even pick this.
Yeah. This movie ran at an hour and 48 minutes and at a $20 million budget and $319.5 million at the box office. That's why we got a lot of sequels and a lot of spin-offs, and we had a franchise.
These movies killed at our theater.
People love
like
those
this,
haunting movies. I mean, to be honest,
like,
Insidious killed it this weekend. The new Insidious movie killed it this weekend. Yeah. So
what did it hit, do you know?
I think it was like $32 million over the weekend, which for a horror movie
good.
in its first weekend is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's everything for that. So let's talk about the plot.
Yes, it thickens.
So this movie opens with some fucking music that just slaps you in the face. You're just like, holy shit, what is happening? And it's like, yeah, you're in for a fucking ride, man. We get a bunch of young nurses. They're telling their story about the creepiness of this doll. And this doll is named Annabelle. They tell their story about how they met they were talking to a 7-year-old ghost of a girl named Annabelle Higgins. And they were like, oh, you're very nice. How about you can hang out in our doll. That's fine. And for one, if that is for one, the real Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll. Yep. Just to let everyone know. If you didn't already know, I mean, this movie's 10 years old and has been talked to death. But just for people who do not know, words are hard.
Dog nuts, bro.
They're just people are just used to it. Like, yeah, he's an idiot. It's fine.
That's what they say about me. So, I mean, I've been there.
Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll, the real one. But they were like, yeah, that's not creepy enough. We got to make this thing the most terrifying looking fucking doll you've ever seen in your life. And I'm like, who would want this thing? As soon as I saw this thing, I'd be like, a big old nope. And listen, one of my favorite characters of all time is a possessed fucking doll, but I would rather have a possessed looking Chucky hanging out in my house than that goddamn Annabelle doll.
Nope. I don't do dolls like that. Nope.
So
burn them.
Yeah. So yeah, they tell that story, and of course they're telling it to Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are like, yeah, so you pretty much invited, it's not a ghost of a little girl, it's a demon. It's an evil spirit. Yeah, you fucked up. And they're like, oh shit. And then it kind of like goes into flashbacks of showing like their experience with, they had like crazy things were happening in the house or in the apartment. So they got rid of the doll, they threw it away, and then the doll just showed back up again. And
Miss me?
Yes, we get the note. This is Miss Me. And you get the whole thing where they, the one girl goes into the room and you just see like crayon drawings all over the fucking room. I was like, I would have killed for a deleted scene of seeing the Annabelle doll just crawling around, coloring all over. I was like, you never get to see that. It's always just the aftermath. I want to see it. I want to see the doll crawling around, even though technically the doll is being maneuvered by the demon. It's not like in the doll, like actually the doll's moving. It's actually just being puppeted by a demon.
Yeah, because they said they can't possess dolls.
Yeah. It's a vessel. It's not it's not a body for them to control.
Mm-hmm.
It's all weird. So,
yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. So they end up taking the doll, and you later find out that it now lives in the Warrens' house in a very locked up cabinet.
Can I say something?
Which is still there today.
Outside of the fact that they had to have known they were going to do something with this, all the Annabelle stuff has almost no payoff in this movie.
No, and I don't think it meant to, because I think when you see it later on, I mean, we'll get to it when we get to that scene. I think you know what I'm talking about, the whole rocking chair thing.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is like I know what they were trying to do is establish the Warrens, what they do, but I felt like there was just too much focus on that specific doll. Like bring it up multiple times in the movie, and you're like, if there wasn't a sequel, a follow-up to this, it's just like there's no point.
Yeah,
unless they knew for sure. But anyway, carry on.
No, I agree. So we then see Ed and Lorraine. They're teaching a class about the Annabelle case. That's kind of the whole reason why you get them talking. It kind of turns into the video of that they're showing this class. And, you know, of course, you get the whole thing where it's like, oh, who are you? You know, what are you guys? And they're like, oh, well, we're demonologists or we're paranormal investigators. And they name off a couple other things. And it's like, or as some people will call us, kooks or weirdos or whack jobs. And it's like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people nowadays go with those more than the other things, especially now. So then we jump forward and we see a family, a very large family. And by the way, this man cannot get a boy to save his life because he's got five daughters? Wow. They're moving into a new house. And as soon as you pull up to that house, you're like, damn, how old is this house? 1730s. Motherfucker.
Growing up, I wanted a house like this.
No joke. This house is pretty awesome though. Like it looks so sick.
But then all the horror movies, possession movies, use houses that look like this, and I'm like, nope, nope.
Oh yeah, I mean they're perfect for these situations. But also, it's hilarious because even when you're looking for a house, like the year it was made is always something you look at and you're like, especially if you're someone who believes in this stuff, you're like, that's a red flag. If this thing was built in the 1700s, most likely someone else is still there. Someone who's has been, not on this earth for a very long time.
Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Would they all move in and the dog's like, hell to the no. I'm going to stay outside. Thanks.
Is this where we get our first musical interlude?
Dog knows what's up.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's Time of the Season by the Zombies.
Yep.
It's a good song. It's a fucking sweet song. Oh, it's so good.
I don't want to sing too much.
It's great, dude. It's so good.
He doesn't want to get...
I don't want to get a copyright strike on our 20 views.
Was there a timestamp with this transition to this? Because it took us forever to figure out what year this was.
This is 1971.
It shows, like, when they first walk into the house, it says, like, New Hampshire, 1970.
Okay, because we missed that.
I missed
Is it New Hampshire? I thought this was Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Well, no. So this house is in Rhode Island.
Or Rhode Island. It says Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That's right.
This house, though, like when they go to the back, like when they see it, when the daughters are going through and there's the girl sitting at the tree, it looks like a house that belongs like Louisiana. Like it's like an old plantation house.
Yes. I want to say this about Rhode Island, and no offense to any viewers that are allegedly from Rhode Island. I don't think Rhode Island's a real state. I've never been there. I've never seen a vehicle with a Rhode Island license plate.
I have.
It's fake. Never happened. I've never seen it myself. It's allegedly the smallest state. They're like, dude, we need 50. We just round it out.
Spent a lot of time in Rhode Island. It is a state. I've seen many license plates in my state because I'm from New England and I live in New England. It is a state in New England. I went on vacation there with my wife. You know, I train at my old job. I had to go there for like 6 weeks for training. Dan, it does exist. I know, you know, you're in the South. I know, I understand. You don't have those tiny states.
No, we don't. I think
it's like West Virginia is probably like your smallest state.
Probably. But like, I think they perpetuate this because just to make it seem like it's more grandiose. Like, yeah, we've got Rhode Island. I've been there. Like,
I mean, you could literally drive through Rhode Island in like an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, so the family's settling in, and the youngest one finds a creepy music box in a tree that is straight out of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe we should not let this little girl play with this creepy box she found in a tree. Because as soon as I see her with the box, I mean, maybe the parents just assumed she already had this thing because they have 5 girls and they probably can't keep track of everything that these girls do.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they just assumed, oh, this is just she probably had that. Did we get her for Christmas one? I don't fucking know.
Where'd you get that?
Yeah, but it's
and they never ask either.
No.
Like, what are you playing with?
Yep.
Until it's too late.
So they play a really creepy ass game called Hide and Clap. I will never play this game ever.
No.
And I hope my kids never figure it out because
It's like a brand new house.
Also,
like, you just get hurt so bad, dude.
Also, yeah, who plays it on the second floor of a house with open banisters? Like they literally have banisters that literally fall to your death.
Yep.
I saw
That's what
Halloween
I was waiting
Ends.
for.
That
I was
kid
like, she's gonna
died.
break her neck. Yeah. Like
it's the best part of that movie. They discover during their game that there's a cellar, and I'm like, how the fuck do you not know there's a cellar in this house? For one, you're in New England, every fucking house is a cellar.
Yeah.
Especially houses this old. Come on.
Gotta have one.
Yeah.
Gotta have one.
So the dad explores down the basement, and I go, it was boarded up for a good reason, Dad. Probably should have left it that way, but you know, can't progress this movie. And then, later that night we get the whole. This is the funniest thing because the mom and dad, because he finds the first bruise on her, and
her leg or
on her shin.
Yeah, and he's like, "Are you all right there?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Whatever." She kind of brushes it off. She's like, "Oh, he also says he's tired." She's like, "Well, are you tired enough to christen the new place?" And he's like, "Did I say tired?" And I was like, "Just make sure you pull out because you already have 5. I'd hate if you had 6."
Not how they play those games back in the 70s, dude.
Yeah,
not at all.
Their pullout
It's
game
like
was weak.
It's like what the fuck? The 19 kids and counting. God damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mom wakes up the next morning. She got some bruises on her. It's really cold in the house, and she notices
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. But also the fact is, like, you also find out the dad hasn't figured out the furnace yet. Like, figured that would be pretty important to figure out as soon as you move into a house. You, for one, what time of year is this? I don't know.
Fall.
So it gets pretty damn cold at night in the fall in New England. But she also notices that all the clocks around the house are stopped at 3:07. That's weird, and that's also kind of a similar thing that happens in the Amityville Horror, which is another case that the Warrens investigated, which then turned out to be a fucking a bunch of bullshit. But in that, the clocks stop at 3:15 because that was when the guy killed the time the guy killed his family or whatever. So it's very similar.
So this house had to be modified in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
Because a house of this age would not have centralized heating.
Oh, okay. I mean, somebody could have updated it.
I know what I'm saying. That's why I said it had to have been updated because it wouldn't have that. Because we lived in a house, and this is not just the old example I've heard of it. We lived in a farmhouse it was built in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and there was the furnace, like the I guess big radiator in the dining room, and that was it. It was a 2-story farmhouse, and the rest of the shit was cold if it was cold outside. So,
well, there's a lot of junk in the basement. She goes down there to see how it's going down. She's like, "There's a lot of stuff," and I'd be like, "This is a fucking field day for me. I'd be going through all that shit, having a great time."
Hell yeah!
I get nosy like that. Yeah.
And
piece of candy.
But unfortunately, this all turns sour when the youngest daughter finds the dog dead. I'm like, why?
Why is
randomly
like?
Come on, man.
It's like the dog was there for this movie just to make you feel bad. Like one scene of the dog, you can't come in the house. Next scene of the dog, it's dead.
Yeah.
Like when they kill the animals.
We're then back in Connecticut where the Warrens live. We're at the Warrens' house, and Ed is giving a tour of the haunted museum or relic room or whatever they called it. And I like how he walks in and he's like, "Yeah, so this is where we store all the stuff from each of our cases, the kind of the vessels that all these things are living in. Don't touch. And then he goes, everything in this room is possessed in some way, even that toy monkey. And of course, the guy's like, I gotta touch. He's like, don't touch. I said it before. He shows the guy he asks if the Annabelle doll's there. He shows him that. And then he catches his daughter in there. And of course, like the first thing he goes, like, you didn't touch anything, right? She's like, no. It's like, you're not supposed to be in here. Calls his housekeeper.
I'm greater, damn it.
You know she's not supposed to be in here. So you find out that Lorraine is kind of not 100%. I guess there was some botched exorcism that happened that kind of fucked her up. And so she's kind of stepped back from doing anything paranormal right now. So yeah, it's a whole conversation. It was like, he's still trying to do things, but she's kind of stepping back. But also she's like, I don't want to do things without you.
Yeah.
So we then go back to the farmhouse where we see kind of the first inkling of something weird is happening. I mean, yeah, we got the whole thing with the dog dying. That's weird. And we got the whole thing with the house being super cold, but like you could just pass that off as it's an old farmhouse. But we get Christine, played by Joey King, who's getting fucked with. She gets her leg pulled. She's trying to blame her sister because she shares her room with her. And you don't really get. You also get
this is why you don't sleep over top of the covers. That's why you sleep under the covers.
Oh man, Ghost would have loved me because that was all me. If it's a little bit too hot for me, I'm sleeping. I'm literally like, there's no blanket on that bed. It's just me on top of a sheet.
Yep.
No, me. I got hot after we watched this, and I was like, shit. I need 1 foot out from under the covers, and I'm like, no, I can't.
We were talking about
Something's gonna touch my foot.
She's like, this is why you don't sleep with your feet over the edge or underneath the covers. It's like the ghosts could just go underneath the covers.
Yeah, right. They're ghosts. They can go through things. I was thinking. I always expect just the monsters, like instead of like wanting to scare me or grab my foot. He's actually, it's 2023, and the monster in your bed now has a cell phone. He's just taking feet pics. Easiest way possible.
Yes. Hey, you make money doing that.
Exactly. Other than her getting her foot pulled, she also is like, stop farting. It stinks. And, you're like, ooh, something's happening. Or just Nancy's over there like just fucking ripping it.
She's got the old stink cheek.
Night.
Yeah. Hey man, when you're sleeping, things happen. Your bowels start to they relax, and that's when those things escape. Oh man. So we're then back at the farmhouse where the dad wakes up to some very loud static on the TV. I'm like, what was the volume on this TV when you fell asleep, bro? Because that thing is loud. Jesus, I had to like turn my TV down because of the static of his TV. Holy shit. But he's also hearing some thudding going on around the house. There's doors opening. He finds some windows open. And this is when you discover one of the daughters sleepwalks, which I guess was something that hasn't happened in a while. But she's literally just banging her head off of this really old wardrobe. And you're like, oh my God. Still, after seeing this movie a bunch of times, sleepwalk. I mean, my daughter sleepwalks, and it's creepy. It's fucking creepy. So just like see it in a movie, I'm like, I'm glad we don't live in an old house because I think it would just make it even worse. So the next morning, the dad discovers there's another big bruise on the wife, which her name is Carolyn, and his name is Roger. Most of the time, I just called them mom and dad.
Yeah. But
he finds another bruise on her. She's like, he's like, go get him checked out. She's like, I will. See you later. You find out he's a truck driver too. The youngest daughter is like, hey mom, you want to see my cool spooky box? She's like, yeah, sure, honey.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, she tells her that she's got a friend named Rory, and the only way you can see him in the reflection on the box. Like she does the thing, but you're expecting it because it like zooms in on her face, and you get the really creepy music, but then you don't see anything, and you're like, oh. And then she's like, hey, mom, you want to play hide and clap? And she's like, nah, not really. And she's like, come on, I never get to play. So
there's a reason.
She's like, fine, jeez.
This is when you get kind of a first visual of something creepy because she's, for one, why are they playing hide and clap in the second floor? This just spell. Oh my god.
Yes, I was like, she's going to break her neck. She's going to fall down the steps and break her neck.
So she's wandering around. She goes into Andrea's room, which is that's the room that's got the creepy wardrobe, and that's when you get the wardrobe like opens, and then so the whole point of the game is you can only ask for 3 claps to try to find the person. You got to see it earlier because that's when they discover the basement. But so you get the hands that just come out of the wardrobe and do the clap.
They're trying to lull you into Narnia. Like, come on, child.
Yeah. And so, that's when she kind of gets a little wary about it, and she goes and looks in there. But then April comes around the corner. She's like, you took your mask off. I win. Ha.
Well, you weren't even close. I was in such and such's room or something like that.
You then find out that the dad is a truck driver, but he's all based on work when he gets it. Like people, they just call him up. It's like, hey, you're gonna deliver this to this place. But I guess he's got to go all the way to Florida for a week. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah, no.
Owner operator.
Yeah. And and you get the whole thing where it's like he's getting paid less to drive farther. I'm like, fuck that. But when you have a family of 5, well, technically 6 with the wife, because clearly she doesn't work because she's probably there, taking care of the youngest and then got to take care of the others. That sucks. And that's why they live in this house, because they got it super cheap.
Yep.
That night, Christine gets messed with to the point where she thinks it's Nancy, but then one of the pulls is so hard it like freaks her out. Like she wakes up and she's like, well, Nancy's just passed down the bed, so clearly it wasn't her. So you get the whole thing where she looks under her bed, because it's usually the first place you look. And then she stares into the corner because the door is open. So she stares into like the dark corner. You don't see anything as the viewer, but she can see something, because Nancy wakes up and she's like, Nancy, there's something in the corner. Can you see it? And she's like, no. And then she even goes in there, nothing. And then of course, when she turns around to go back out, Christine's like, it's right behind you. And you still don't see anything. But you just hear it, but because it just cuts to the parents' room where you hear the screaming, and they go in and Christine's freaking out. And I thought Nancy would be freaking out too, but clearly she didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So she's like, my sister's weird.
Yeah. And of course she says like that she saw somebody in the corner and even talked to her, and it said that it wants my family dead.
Shut up, lady. You're going to eat your family.
Yeah. So
get out my house.
Yeah, we then see Ed gets a call to go help somebody with a situation, and you find out that Lorraine decides to come back and help him out, and they go to a house and they find out it's just the pipes in the house that's causing the weird sounds going on. Which I feel like in a lot of houses that's the most mostly the answer to a lot of weird sounds in back in those days. Just old ass piping. So we then go back to the farmhouse where Carolyn is hearing some weird, thumps around the house. She goes down to investigate, and this is when she's like walking into the hallway and she hears the glass shatter, and then all the pictures just fall off the wall down the stairs. It's like, oh shit. Okay. And
out.
You then get to see that you see the basement door open by itself. And so she's like, I wonder where I should go. Let me go there.
No.
Yeah.
White person syndrome.
Exactly.
Let's go check it out.
It's the big fluffy dog that's barking its head off. Oh, let's go pet it. No.
Yeah. Nope. You leave it alone. They go there, or she goes into the basement, and she gets the door slammed on her face, and she gets knocked down to the basement stairs. And she gets real fast, by the way. Like
she'd be dead.
No. In any other movie, yes, she would be instantly dead. Because any other horror movie, I'm surprised she stood up.
Yeah, but
or at least be knocked out real good, because she hit her face real hard on that pole.
Yeah,
and then on the floor.
When she comes to, there's a red ball that like flies out of this pile and just bounces in front of her. It freaks her out. She goes back up the stairs, and she's up at the top. She can't get out. So she I guess she had matches on her the whole time, and she just lights a bunch of matches, and she looks.
They were dropped on the steps when the dad went down.
Okay. So she lights it. She doesn't see anything. And then she goes to she lights another one, and all you hear in like a whispery voice, like, "You want to play hide and clap?" And she's like, and she goes and lights more, and that's when you get the behind her, and it freaks her out, and you just get the scene of the outside of the door as it's shaking because clearly no one can hear her.
I got chills down my whole body when you said that because I can see it.
I mean, she also hears the piano playing in the basement too, which is like, again, I'm not going down there.
I just see that's not.
No.
You get chills from that scene, and I just think of what if she just misheard the ghost and thought it said, "Hey, do you want to go play hide and get clap?" She's like, I don't want that at all.
What?
Frankly.
Why did I know that was a joke that was going to come out of you?
I was waiting for the right
known him long
time.
enough. Well, it's like when they're talking in the kitchen and they see the bruise on her shin. She's like, "What did you do to me last night?" And I was like, "Wow,
wow."
We're working on the old number 6 right now, baby.
He's like, "I didn't do nothing. I'll fill you up." Golly.
Like as
Go
much
make
as
me
you
some
can,
food.
as much as you
70s.
can hear in that house, it couldn't have been too rough.
So Cindy is sleepwalking again. She goes into Andrea's room. She's running into the wardrobe again, and Andrea's like, "You know what? I'm gonna come sleep in my bed. It's it's fine." And this is when the wardrobe starts making weird noises, and so Andrea goes over to like investigate, and she, of course, like who did I say? Cindy's the one who was in the bed. And she like looks up and she sees her face, and then she turns and Bathsheba's just on the top, like, and then fucking leaps on her.
This is my wardrobe, damn it!
And you then hear the screaming. The dad shows up at the nick of time, like he is there at the right time, because he then goes in because the mom is locked in the basement. That's happening upstairs. He's got to figure out what the fuck is going on. And like, I love what he has to say. Like, somebody just tell me what the hell is happening here.
Yes, I just got home. I just don't know what's up.
Oh man. So we then jump to another like seminar with Ed and Lorraine as they're talking about. I'm guessing this is the exorcism that fucked up Lorraine. It was an exorcism on a guy named Maurice. It was an extreme one because it didn't work. He ended up ending his life, but there was like weird side. They even had all these weird things happening on video where he was talking about, it's like this dude had like a 3rd grade education but was able to speak Latin forward and backwards. He had like the cross was showing up on his stomach, like upside down, like in under his skin, like visibly on video, which is like, okay. And yeah, just a bunch of crazy shit happened, but it like fucked up Lorraine. But you don't really get that knowledge in this scene. But if you didn't know, the real Lorraine Warren is in this scene. When they're zooming, when they show the crowd, the old lady that's in the front row is the real Lorraine Warren. Yep.
There was another lady in the crowd, and I was like, "Is that Courtney Cox?"
I was like, what?
Could have been.
I was like, it looked just like her.
Gotta get work doing something.
Trust me, she's making plenty off of all
It was
residuals from Friends.
It would have been a younger version. Oh, of course.
And the Scream franchise.
Absolutely. That's why she only shows up in the Scream franchise now. She's like, I don't need to do anything else.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they talk about the whole like process of hauntings or demonic possessions. It starts off with infestation, which is like the noises and everything. So what we've already seen happening in the parent house. Then you get oppression, which is kind of like trying to turn everybody against each other, or trying to turn like the person that's trying to get trying to be possessed against everybody else, which we haven't seen yet. And then of course the final part is possession, which is, when the demon finally gets a hold of a host. You see Carolyn's in the crowd, so she then talks to the Warrens outside, and of course, like Ed's like, we're busy, it's probably just some easy thing to explain, and she's going through the whole thing. Is like, no, it's gonna hurt my kids, and like I'm afraid for my life, blah blah blah. And Lorraine's like, okay, yes, we'll help. Yep.
Let's do it. Gas this bitch up. Gas up the old ambassador. We're fucking going, boy. It is an AMC ambassador.
I mean, they fly to this place. Like when they're showing the highway scene, you're just like, damn.
Yeah.
So
fuck that 55-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah. So the Warrens, they go to the parents, and of course they go into the house, and they the mom and dad, they're talking about like everything that they've experienced, the fact like they're smelling rotten meat, the knocking in threes, which is a mock to the Trinity, and of course the broken pictures that fell off the wall by themselves, and of course the dog dying. I don't even think they mentioned that. Like that just happens, and then there's just never gets talked about again. It's like, what? We just found our dog with its neck snapped outside. Oh,
They
also
mentioned the
birds. Yeah, birds are crashing into the house.
Yeah. And the clock stopping at 3:07.
Right. And yeah, so they're like, yeah, that's pretty good sign that it's demonic activity.
You got a demon.
Yep. Lorraine goes downstairs and she's
exorcise the demon. Sorry.
That's right.
That's all I could think of during this movie. And then I was waiting for Bathsheba to say your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like I was just waiting. Like I know that's not. It's not something that's going to be said. I was just waiting,
expecting a knock in the movie, and somebody be like, "Yes, Satan." I thought you were somebody else.
Oh man! So Lorraine goes in the basement. She senses something's not good down there, and that's when Ed takes Carolyn and Roger, I keep forgetting his name, to the side. He wants to record her telling him all of her experiences. And Lorraine hangs out with April because April wants to show her Rory. And this is when you actually get to see Rory, because she does the box, and then as the mirror kind of rotates in a way, or it kind of like moves, and you see Rory kind of behind the door, and then of course the next time around he disappears. So yeah, this is when you kind of get that first hint of a ghost. And Lorraine goes outside to the creepy ass tree, and it's not even the fact that you like see Bathsheba hanging from the tree, but it's the noise of the rope that gets you first. It's like that creaking of the rope as it's tightening. And then of course Ed comes out to see what's going on, and of course she's got that like terrified face as you just see feet, from the tree. It's still a creepy scene today.
Well, and she's a clairvoyant, so she sees this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine, she sees this stuff. I'm like, I don't blame her for it wearing her out, because that's
absolutely.
a lot. Yeah. That's a lot to see.
So they pretty much tell the parents, your house needs to be exorcised. And they're like, what? I thought only people could have that done. And they're like, no, not really. And of course Ed tells the whole process, it has to go through the Vatican. Only, fully trained, like certain people can do exorcisms. Like he knows what to do, but he's not actually like ordained to do it because he's not a priest. Because I guess even in reality, even the real Ed Warren, he literally wanted to know everything about that field without actually having to be a priest.
Nowadays, you can get ordained on the internet.
And I wonder if his extramarital stuff had to do with that. But like I said, that's all accusations. I'm not going to go any further.
He wanted to know everything.
They were like, oh, well, we could just move. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. It's going to follow you anywhere you go because it's attached to your family. And then, of course, you go through you backtrack into all the scenes you've already seen, but you see like the shadow behind Carolyn and Roger. And then you see the shadow behind the kids. And then, of course, it shows the Bathsheba hanging from the tree again, but from like a farther view, so you see like her whole body, her there. And it's like, no, the only way we're getting rid of this is with an exorcism. And of course you also get the information that they don't go to church, their kids haven't been baptized, which kind of plays a big thing into exorcisms, because I guess it feeds the demon attached to them a lot easier because of the fact they don't have faith. They're like, yeah, the demon's not going to like us much because we believe in God.
This is a holy war.
Yeah. So we're back at the Warrens' house, and Ed is going over his recordings, and he discovers that Carolyn's voice never recorded. It's literally, you just hear the questions that were asked before, but you don't hear her voice coming as answers.
Parker's house is possessed.
I heard it.
The creaky doors. It adds the ambiance to this episode.
It does. But I can imagine, what's the name of the fucking ghost in this movie?
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba. Okay, okay. For Magic players out there, I keep want to say Baba Lysaga, which is a thing for magic.
That sounds more confusing to say than Bathsheba.
Which also makes me want to say Baby Lasagna, because I listened to a fucking podcast. It's what a guy named his deck that uses that character. But anyway, I just got this. Bathsheba like goes up to the recorder and like while they're trying to record and just like magically gets in and just mutes one of the channels.
In 1971.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's
when
how
there
apparently
wasn't really channels.
You know, the reason ghosts could do this shit is because they just had the internet before anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could just hack into shit, and it's just how.
Well, I mean, it's supposedly it's because of the fact that spirits can mess with electromagnetic fields, which of course a recorder would have to use one to do that. So, and it's a demon, so it's got extra powers. When you work for the Dark Lord himself, you get some extra powers.
When you bed yourself with Satan, absolutely, yeah. It's got perks.
So the other thing is, so of course he shows Lorraine that, and Lorraine then goes through the history of Bathsheba. So the original owner of the house was married to Bathsheba, who she finds out was a relative of a Marytown Esty who was accused of being a witch in Salem. I guess she was she was a real person. I mean, Bathsheba was actually a real person too. So, but I guess
how do you know she's a witch?
What? She looks like one.
She turned me into a newt. What? I got better. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh man, no. But Bathsheba got pregnant. She had a baby, and then the husband found her trying to well, no, I guess she did end up sacrificing the baby to Satan, and then of course she like ran out and she hanged herself at that tree in the in the name of Satan.
Oh, Satan.
And I guess she died at 3:07 a.m.
We were talking about this literally before it got to that, not the Hail Satan thing. Hail Satan! Anyway, not that. We were talking about...
It works better when I've been...
No, it's fine. Remember before we even got to this point, like we were saying, like, burn the witch! And then we found out she was a witch. Like, oh, we were right this whole time.
Yeah. So you also find out there was a lot of other deaths that happened afterwards because she kind of like cursed the land. Like pretty much anyone who tries to take her land will have to pay. So there's like a boy that drowned in the lake behind, or the pond behind the house. Somebody got shot in the house, and there was a bunch of things that happened. And that's when the recorder starts playing on its own at 3:07. Pretty much just these high shrieks, these high pitched shrieks across the recording. So now the Warrens are back at the farmhouse because it's time to get some proof, because they need proof in order to submit it to the Vatican, or submit it to the church to then submit it to the Vatican and do that whole fucking process of getting an exorcism approved. They get the house wired up, which is pretty impressive, the equipment they have in 1971 to do all this stuff, because this stuff probably was super expensive back then.
Do you hear how clear?
Yeah.
When they talk in the microphone, I was like...
We were talking about this. Like, what the kind of fucking 70s super technology is this shit?
Like, everything...
shit that doesn't even exist.
Well, their video of everything looks like it's from the 70s. Yeah. But then you hear him talk, I'm like, damn, that's clear.
Well, even when they do the video from the 70s, it's way too fucking clear.
Well,
like,
yeah,
we're just going to add the fucking picture frame, the film frame.
There's definitely a filter there that you can tell is...
It's just stop, guys.
But that microphone, I was like, damn, we need one of those.
Oh, shit.
Clear.
Oh, so Lorraine...
I've gone back to listen to Walter Cronkite, and he does not sound that fucking clear.
Yeah, and he was working for network television.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So Lorraine and Carolyn, they have a heart to heart. They talk about, being mothers, and of course, Lorraine. You see the picture, which at first it looked like just really bad, like it was like a superimposed picture of them on the beach, but then it shows like the precursor to them taking the picture. I was like, okay, that actually looks like a beach, but like the picture just looks so fake. It was so bad. But of course,
this is when we went to Amity Island. Yeah, before they had all those bad shark attacks.
Yeah,
I know it's actually way before that. I know it was the 71, but anyway.
There's like no background.
Because the book wasn't even written until 74. So she talks about how like she would do anything for her kids. She's a good mom, which is great. And of course, Lorraine is being that like supportive person, like trying to comfort her during this dark time. So we then also we meet Brad the cop, who I just was like, why this guy? He's so out of place.
Somebody who made this movie is like, all right, it takes place in the 60s. 70s, sorry. This motherfucker's driving a Bullet Mustang. But they weren't called that at this time. Like, this is what this motherfucker's driving. Yeah. I couldn't see the side. It's 67 or 68 Mustang GT Fastback. It's like it's practically the same green. I was like, he needs to drive the Bullet Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
That was, go ahead.
Semi-liked Rocky Horror.
What?
I said semi-liked Rocky Horror.
Did he drive the Mustang? Was it a Fastback
No,
Mustang?
his name was Brad.
Oh, fuck that movie. And fuck Brad, too. Irresponsible son of a bitch.
But, like,
sets that shotgun down.
Yeah, he shows up and you get, like, some comedy beats where it's like, the door opens and they're like, and then it's just him going to the bathroom. So, I had to go. And I was like, okay, Brad.
You gotta ask for permission. You can't just, piss in someone's house.
But,
surprised he didn't go outside.
Well, I would have done. I'd peed on the dog.
100%. I would have peed right next to my car.
Now.
Peed on the dog?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that and the dead birds. Like, this shit's mine.
Oh, I'm guaranteeing that dog was buried, Dan.
They could pee there.
They didn't just leave it dead on the ground.
Like, oh, that's a shame. Just walked away.
They seemed pretty distraught about their dog.
I know.
Jesus. Oh man, but things happen, but really nothing happens at the same time. And then the clock changes to 3:08, and Brad's like, "Fucking idiots." He doesn't actually say that, but pretty much.
I believe in the clock, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's like a cool line, bro.
GG, man.
This is when the next morning everybody's so chipper and happy. Yay! Can we go get We're gonna have pancakes. Can we get some ice cream? Lorraine's outside doing laundry. Why?
Pancakes and ice cream for breakfast?
You can have pancakes and ice cream for breakfast.
Well, no, they had pancakes and then they went out for ice cream. So they had their pancakes first and then they went out for ice cream. But
you want your ice cream? You got to eat your pancakes first.
Yeah.
All the pancakes smell like rotting meat. Suck it up. I made these damn pancakes.
But this is when everything starts to kind of progress with, the possession and everything because, of course, Ed and Lorraine have their little lovey moment at the laundry. And, it's like, oh, we've always dreamed about living at a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. And then he leaves.
Buy this house out from under him.
Yeah, he leaves because he's like, I'm going to go work on that Chevy. And we're like, what Chevy? And then you find out later. And then she is doing the laundry. It's starting to the weather's starting to pick up. It's getting windy, and she loses grip of one of the sheets, and it like hits something, and you just see a body, and then it flies up to a window. When it flies off the window, you see Bathsheba standing there, and then it walks towards what?
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Oh, and then she starts walking towards Carolyn's room because she's like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap."
I like that shot though.
Oh, it's really cool.
The sheet hits the body and then goes to the window. Yeah, it's fucking sweet.
Really good. Lorraine runs up to try to get to Carolyn because she knows that's where Bathsheba's going. Because they find out that it's the mother. Like throughout the history of this house, it's always the mother of the family that gets possessed to kill the kids. But it's too late. Bathsheba makes her appearance on top of Carolyn, which is just like, oh my God. And then vomits blood into her mouth.
I just thought it was chewed up Twizzlers pull and peel.
It's it's not nearly as bad as it's not nearly as bad as that fucking pink yogurt from Evil Dead. That just goes on for time. Why is your mouth open? Shut your mouth.
It was literally
why are these zombies strawberry flavor?
Oh man.
But like schnozberries.
Of course, Lorraine confronts Carolyn, and Carolyn kind of like brushes her off, and you kind of she can kind of tell like, okay, this is not normal.
Yeah, because she's like, I think I heard the dad and the kids, and I'm like, they're not even here yet.
Yeah, because they left, and right after this is when they pull into the driveway, and Roger goes and talks to Ed because Ed's fucking with the car.
Yeah, it's a 55 or 56 Chevy 4-door. Like a 210, whatever, 510, whatever they call those back then. Dude, nobody gives a shit. It's Tri-5 Chevy. If you've seen one, you've seen all of them. Even if you like Tri-5s, I'm sorry. They're fucking everywhere. Carry on.
Not at this time, probably.
No, I'm actually surprised they're fixing it up because that wasn't a common practice back then.
Maybe
Especially in 71.
And they needed that vehicle.
At least that I have heard. He didn't need that vehicle. He's like, I'll fucking get around to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he tells Roger about Lorraine's experience with that exorcist, or the exorcism, how it didn't go very good. And it like freaked her out so much she like locked herself in a room for 8 days, didn't eat. It really messed her up. So we then go back to the next night during the investigation, and this is when Brad is kind of he sees some shit. He's like going to make himself a coffee. He notices the rocking chair outside is rocking by itself, and then that's when this is I don't mind jump scares. I don't. When they're overdone, it can get annoying, but I love it when it shows you something real quick where you're like, oh shit, did you see that? But then a jump scare happens. So like you see, he goes by the pantry and you see the woman standing in the back. But right before that is when he sees the rocking chair rocking, you can hear, look what she's done to me, or look what she's made me do.
Yeah, look what she's made me do.
And then you see when he sees the maid, she shows her wrist, like, look what she made me do. And then he's like, and of course, and then she disappears, and he goes in there to be like, hey, it's like, for one, Brad, you know who's in this house right now. Why would you think this was anyone who was there? I would have been like, you don't look familiar. I'm gonna go. Good luck with whatever you got going on. I would have stayed, but I would not have gone into the pantry to be like, come back, lady. And then of course he gets the jump scare where the maid like comes right at him, and she's like, oh, what she made me do, and then she like disappears, and he freaks out.
Now all I can hear is Taylor Swift.
What?
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do.
I seen this guy and I was like, he's a non-believer. There's no way he's
100%.
Maybe like that was my first thought when he said that he's dead.
I mean, he went looking for her. There's a maid in the house. Oh, let me go look for her. No.
Yeah. So while this is all happening, this is when they hear footsteps upstairs, and they notice that Cindy's sleepwalking again, and she walks into a room. She walks into Andrea's room again, and then they could hear a little boy's voice talking over the walkie-talkie or over one of the cameras or whatever, one of the recording devices that was up there.
Well, they've got the camera set up, and they see the flash, and whoever's in the other room, one of the secondary people's in the other room. We've got some activity going, and here she is, because she walks past the camera.
Yeah,
and it flashes.
Yeah,
it was
Drew. It's Drew.
Yeah, because she walks by like the front door and then walks up the stairs. And then when they
part
go
freaks
down
me out,
there,
too.
they see her walking along the second floor, and then she goes into the room. They hear the boy's voice over the radio, and they go into the room, which is locked. They can't get in at first, but then they get in there, and she's just gone, and they're looking everywhere. But then Ed is the one who looks inside the wardrobe and realizes there is a compartment, like a piece of the wall is just gone, and he goes in there and notices Cindy's just passed out in there.
Yep.
And that's when April is like, oh yeah, that's where Rory hides when he's scared. So I'm guessing Rory is the boy who drowned in the pond behind the house. I'm guessing.
Which is cool that you got the other ghost, because like you almost think it's all just one, but it's not.
Yeah, because some of them are like, they're not like malevolent spirits. Like Bathsheba's the one kind of being the puppet master of everything that's going on, but she's the true evil, where they're all just the victims of her witchcraft. So Lorraine investigates. She goes into the wall. She investigates the area, and she finds the noose in there, and then just crashes to the basement. Just fucking 3 floors down. Just bah, bah, bah. And she's alive.
Yeah.
She's
and
alive.
she's fine.
Yep, she's okay.
Yeah.
She just had to brush some
She's
dust
not
off.
hurt.
She's okay.
Yeah. I'm like, walk it off. You'll be fine.
And she has the music box with her, and so she uses it to see other spirits. So you see how the maid got killed, because it was like some other woman is there. She sees it in the reflection. You see it behind her. And then it comes out of nowhere. She's like, look what she made me do. You're like, holy shit. The only thing that kind of was weird is like, I would have just assumed that she just crashed all the way to the basement. Wouldn't I go down to the basement? Ed is like banging on all the walls and shit. Lorraine. And then he's like, oh, the basement. Weird. I probably should look in there.
Right?
No.
Who'd have thunk
Thank you,
it?
Sherlock.
Oh, Lord. And this is when, so Lorraine's back, and then Nancy gets attacked. She gets dragged around the place by her hair to the point that Lorraine has to use the big ass scissors to cut her hair to release Bathsheba. I was like, damn. And all the crosses started falling off.
I was going to say, is that the
over
scene?
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when Lorraine's in the basement, she sees Bathsheba's feet drop down in front of her.
Yes, and they like move, like follow her, which is what caused her to freak
no,
out.
No,
like,
fam.
oh my
nope,
God.
I'm good. I would be leaving right then and there and be like, you guys are on your own. Goodbye.
And Lorraine also loses her necklace that has her daughter in it.
Yeah, like I'm like, is she going to get choked from this?
It took me a few viewings to figure out that this is how Bathsheba is able to do this next bit. So Lorraine gets a warning about Judy. So she's like, we got to go home because something bad's going to happen. Well, at first does she call her mom in the scene where she's like, is she okay? And she's like, yeah, she's fine. Blah, blah, blah.
She's out at the lake and she sees her daughter.
Yeah, floating in the lake. Yeah.
And that's when she calls her mom.
Why would she think that's her daughter, though? That's the thing that kind of blows me away. Like, she is a clairvoyant and she can see shit. But like, the fact is, like, you see your daughter in a floating in a pond at a house that clearly your daughter's not at. Why would she be there? But I guess I get it. It's just kind of an instinct to be like, oh, my daughter.
I just think it's otherworldly bullshit. Like, I seen a picture of your daughter. I can go fuck her up now. Like, okay.
So, well, I guess it's the whole thing. It's like it connects. Their two necklaces are kind of like a connection.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the daughter's the one that gave her the locket.
Yeah, I know.
With her
and she's got one like just like.
And so they really have to make sure she lost it because it shows it like on the stairs.
Yeah.
And so they have to rush home. They're going to rush home to see Judy because something clearly is happening. But well, actually, no. Because they called the mom. The mom said she was fine. So they then go to the church because they need to get the exorcism approved.
Yes.
But of course the father, I think his name's Father Gordon. He sees all the evidence. He's like, yeah, this is definitely something that needs to happen. But they're not part of the church. It's going to be hard to convince the Vatican to approve it. And they're like, well, they need it. Like, there's no other way. Like, this thing will never leave. So he's like, oh, okay, I'll pass it through myself. So you're like, cool. So this is when Judy starts experiencing some weird shit at home, which is kind of, I feel like something that probably happens all the time, especially when they have a room full of it. Which, spoiler alert, there's a whole movie about this later on.
Don't forget to take the demons out for a walk.
Oh, God.
I just rolled like orphan souls in there every once in a while to let them feed. Like, here you go, have some of these.
So like the house starts getting weird shadows and darkness and stuff. She goes into a room where the rocking chair is, which you see earlier where Lorraine's brushing her hair and stuff. And you see a creepy woman rocking in the chair holding the Annabelle doll. And she's just like, okay. And then the Annabelle doll slowly turns its head to look at her. She's like, I want to leave now. But yeah, this is Bathsheba pretty much I'm guessing she has to use the Annabelle doll to kind of appear, which is weird because we'll talk about it when we get to the later movies. I actually don't mind this scene. The only thing that was weird was, so Ed and Lorraine, they get home, they break in, they get Judy out, but the chair gets thrown at the door and it's such bad CG. It looks so bad. I'm like, holy shit. You couldn't have actually just thrown a chair. Like, I mean, you just shoot it two different ways. Like, you just shoot the chair exploding and then just like put the actors in the scene because that just looked horrendous.
Yes.
The little bit of CGI that's used in this movie, it just did not look very good.
Yes.
So Carolyn, we then so the parents, they go to a motel, but I guess Carolyn takes Christine and April back to the house because Bathsheba pretty much has her fully possessed, and she's pretty much these are the kids are going to get sacrificed. So everybody else is going to follow back to the house. They pretty much show up just in the nick of time because actually Roger gets there first and stops her right before she's going to freaking axe Christine. And of course, like April's terrified in the back of the room, and she just goes ham on everyone down here. She's tossing people. She's trying to choke out Ed. She bites the cheek of freaking Brad. She fucking eats him. She's just beating the shit out of everybody until they throw a sheet over her and then tie her to a chair. And then it's pretty much the whole thing's like, we need to call the priest. We got to get him here to do this. And he's like, it's no time. She's too far away. She's going to be dead by then. So Ed has to perform the exorcism, which he has never done before. And
I got this.
Of course, it's one of those things where he's like reading off the Latin, verses from the Bible. And of course, things are happening. He's stopping because he's just like, I've never experienced this before. Like, if that's the look that he's really giving, is like, I don't know what's happening. We also see that birds are just swarming the house. One crashes into the car that Christine's in. One's a crow literally shatters a window.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Why is it the birds are inherently demonic?
I have no idea.
Crows are.
Why crows?
Crows and ravens.
People don't like crows because they burn down houses and shit. Like, that's the only reason.
So
just because they're arsons.
Well, supposedly crows and ravens harbor souls.
Yeah, but what about the pigeon that flew into the house? Like, into the window and then died right in front of it?
Listen, you asked about crows. I'm just giving you the crow
Pigeons
thing.
are
I don't know.
stupid.
Pigeons are just rats with wings.
Dude, listen.
Pigeons are stupid.
Listen. I think the only reason they did that is because birds aren't real and the government controls them. That's the only reason.
Exactly.
Gosh,
that is
you guys,
100%.
Yeah, they are. Listen, look at me. It's
a conversation that they had earlier today.
The X-Files theme.
Yes, it's like the episode of Rick and Morty with the squirrels. Anybody who's seen that episode knows exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to do little on their hands, I assure you.
So,
but a gathering of crows is called a murder.
It's only called a murder because we call it that.
Well, I mean, that goes.
It's not like humans have christened it, so it must be true.
I mean, that's everything. That's everything.
It's just been a thing. Like, they show up when dead things are there.
Well, no, it's usually vultures.
Well,
crows are awesome, dude. They burn shit down. They're like, fuck the establishment. They're more anarchists than antichrist.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.
He just wanted in for some shit, dude. He's like, dude, I want to burn your house down. Let me in. Fucking Poe. Good God.
Oh.
He started this shit.
I did. Go ahead. Have to divert somewhere.
This is when we get Bathsheba showing herself. You see, like, it pukes the blood inside the sheet. And then, of course, like, the sheet, like, splits in half. And instead of it being Carolyn's face, it's Bathsheba's face. We then get the chair hovering and flipping and attaching itself to the ceiling. And
I didn't think this was scary.
This was one of those moments where Lorraine's like, put her down. Or no, I think Ed says it. It's not what he says it. And I'm like, what? But what if she falls and snaps her neck? She's upside down.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
She's going to land on her head.
But when she falls, she literally like flips to the side.
Yeah.
Like, but when she does it, it's like turn upside down and then like on the ceiling. I was like, that's not like, to me, that's not, it's not
on the ceiling.
That's it.
Yep.
Like, it's a sight that you don't normally see, but that's not scary. Like, she flipped upside down, and it's not she's.
To be honest,
it's more like what she can do.
Yeah, but make it like really scary. Like, have them like flying at people. Like, here comes the chair woman. Like, oh. God.
When it comes to these type of movies, like the exorcism part of these type of movies don't scare me anymore because they're pretty similar. I mean, you watch The Exorcist. That's possibly one of the scariest possession films I've ever seen. I think it's still terrifying to this day, 50 years later. I think when it comes to movies like this, it's everything that happens before that really give you the frights. Like seeing the, just like if you see like, it's not even like in frame. It's like off to the side. You just see like a person standing there. Like I know like that's what Insidious does really well. Is it's not like everything's in frame. It's like she walks into a room and you just like see a dude's face like reflected in the fucking window, and it's just like, okay. But when it comes to like this type of stuff, like seeing Bathsheba's face coming out of the thing was kind of like, okay, all right,
that's cool. I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
It was just the chair thing. It was
it's just because I guess demons can levitate their host. I don't know. It's interesting. But she looks for. She breaks out of the chair when she comes crashing down, and of course Drew is the entire time looking for April, and he finally finds her, just yells, "Hey April, she's over in that room," and she's like, scissors, gotta go kill her, and she's like,
I know, I'm
fucking
like,
crawls into the wall.
Shut up.
I'm like, bro, shut up, man, what are you doing? Just get her and get the fuck out of there.
Nobody needs to know where she's at.
Yeah,
just get her out.
And it's literally one of those things where she is literally about to jab the scissors into April when Lorraine is able to stick her arm into a hole and like grab her head and force Bathsheba out of her. To be honest, the makeup effects look really good on Lily Taylor because it's a mix between her face and Bathsheba's face. And she gets she exorcises the demon.
The name.
True facts.
So April gives Lorraine back the locket that she found it in the basement there. And that's I love it when it was like, oh yeah, they approved the exorcism. Oh, well, that's good timing. And they talk back at home. They talk about how there's a case in Long Island that they should look into, which turns out to be the Amityville horror case. And yeah, that is the end of The Conjuring. So now,
I like it when they're trying to take her out of the house, though, and like she can't leave.
We didn't talk about that. Yeah, when she's
and
like getting like
all
the
the
burns and stuff.
Yeah.
So she can't leave, and then she gets dragged back to the basement. She's like, Roger, and then just. Oh yeah,
I thought
I can't
that
believe
was
I missed
really
that part.
cool.
That part was awesome.
Because it's a close up of her, and like you can physically see everything appearing on her face as she's standing. That's they're trying to pull her out of the house, and they're like, "Oh, she can't leave. She's, connected."
All right, I gotta.
Like that's really cool. And then like when she's leaving, after they exorcise the
demon,
Bathsheba, exorcise the demon. Like, as soon as she steps out of the house, like, all the bruises that were on her body just disappear.
All better now.
Yep.
I just think it's really cool to watch stuff, like, happen in real time. Like, you can see it.
Is it odd how few people, like, almost nobody died? Like, out of the main cast, like, not really anybody died.
The dog.
That's,
the dog and the birds.
I feel
the birds aren't main
They're not
characters.
humans anyway. They're just drones.
I don't think this franchise really has a huge death count. Because of its subject matter. I mean, people do die in this franchise, but it's not an astronomical amount. They try to base this on reality as closely as possible. So, I don't know. But we got some comments. We asked everybody on Twitter, Instagram, and now the new one, Threads.
Oh boy.
No.
What they thought of this movie. So we're going to start over on Twitter, where our first one is from Podcast in the Woods, who said, I don't envy you for some of these. I mean, I have not seen every movie in this franchise, but I'm very excited to check out the ones that I haven't, and I'm excited to revisit the ones I've already seen. Our next one is from Darren from NostalgiaCast. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Darren.
Yeah. He's
every once in a while.
He's commented once here or there. We actually have a double comment from him, and he sent me a DM for another comment. So I'm going to read that one too. One of my favorite scare machines of the last 20 years. I just love a horror movie that knows how to goose its audience. That hide and clap scene is a wow. And having such a loving, charismatic couple plus a family worth rooting for at its center really makes it extra potent. That's the thing. As much as the Warrens weren't the people they were portrayed on screen, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga play a fantastic couple who really, you feel the chemistry between them in this movie and all the movies that they're together in this franchise.
Yes, thank you, Darren. Geese are scary.
Also, I don't know if you'll cover this, but when Tobe Hooper submitted Texas Chainsaw 73 to the MPAA, they gave it an R rating because it was too scary, even though he shot it for a PG. Yes, because literally, if you watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there is very little blood in that movie to the point where it should not have been a rated R. But I guess, yeah. And as he continues, he says the same thing happened to James Wan in The Conjuring. The tone he created earned it an R. Because of the scares in this movie is what made it rated R, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Because there's some pretty scary PG-13 movies out there. Like, to be honest, Insidious is PG-13. And that movie, I'd say, is just as scary, at least to me, as The Conjuring. But I think more of it being that it's based on a true story, maybe. I don't know. His DM he sent to me was, sorry to keep adding to your Conjuring thread, but I also adore how the movie telegraphs its 3-act structure early on. When Carolyn goes to meet the Warrens in class, we see that they're teaching about demonic possession in class. By this point, we've already witnessed the first stage, Act 1, infestation, and when Ed and Lorraine get involved, we'll experience the next 2 stages. Acts 2 and 3, oppression in possession along with them. Just smart, concise screenwriting that I appreciate and will never forget. Thank you, Darren, for those wonderful comments.
Don't apologize.
Oh, absolutely not. Never apologize. On to Instagram. We actually have quite a few Instagram comments. We have our first one from Gimme Back My Horror /action movies. Well, this one's from Gimme Back My Horror Movies, but they're the same account. Great movie. Yes. Hate the real life Warrens, but really enjoy this movie version of them. To be honest, I mean, I haven't really done the extensive research on like what's real and what's fake with the Warrens, but I agree. I love the performance of Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. I think they play really good fictional versions of these characters. Seismic Cinema says never playing the clapping game ever. Same.
No, I mean, outside of, if you do the ghost thing, but like it just seems stupid dangerous.
Yeah, just do it on the first floor, please, or do it outside and like have a boundary.
Just play hide and go seek in the dark. That's what we did.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I did, and it was
flashlight tag.
And to be honest, hide and seek in the dark is just as scary as what this probably was.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, Billy Joseph Jr., patron of the show and a good friend, says creepy as hell. He also commented the same thing on Threads. So thank you,
Billy.
And our last one on Instagram is from Fire Fenriers, who said, I'm interested to see how you guys and girl view Ed and Lorraine, real or con men. Like I just stated, really didn't do extensive research on them to say, like, I don't want to be that person who's like, I think they're fakes.
I think they're fakes.
I mean, probably most of the things that they did were for publicity and for fame. So and they manipulate. I mean, if you look at paranormal investigators today, like not all of them, but like the ones that are like the big time, like on TV, most of them are just kind of there for the money.
Yeah.
See, so I don't want people to think that because I play Phasmo,
you're there for the money. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that I got scared by this, that things like this don't intrigue me. I watch ghost hunter stuff. I have gone on ghost hunting tours. I went to Savannah. I love it. And yes, it does scare the crap out of me. I am one of those that, no, I'm not going to put myself in the way of, like, something dangerous. Like, I don't ride roller coasters much anymore because that does scare me. Like, I can physically get hurt. But ghost hunting things intrigue me. Like, I'm like, it makes my heart has been racing the entire time we've been watching this. Like, I have IMDb pulled up and the trailer keeps playing and I have to keep scrolling past it because it just makes my heart race. But I continually do things that make my heart race. Like,
You enjoy the thrill?
I enjoy the thrill, but I'm not going to put myself into way of physical harm. Like, knowing that I could, I don't think that I would ever get possessed by a demon, whatever. But ghost hunting, I like it. I can't play Phasmo by myself. I will say that. I have to play with people. I have to be able to talk to people, and I'm probably the first one that runs out of the house when bad things happen.
It's true.
All right.
One time she ran out, pushed me out of the way. I was like, "Dear, it's just the ice machine." She's like, "Fuck you."
No. So we live in our town. We have a building in our town that has actually been on Ghost Hunters.
Is that the old hotel?
No, it's the Memorial Building. And it's right across from where I work.
Oh.
So we have I'll never forget.
Went there?
I can't remember who it was, but we had a ghost hunter group come here. It was before I started working where I'm working. And people have said they've driven by there and they've seen people standing in the windows. There's never anybody there unless it's time to vote. It's a voting precinct area. But we were closing one night and we sold Halloween decorations it was motion activated. There was nobody in the front of the store, and it started going off as we were in the back of the store. And I'm like, nope, I'm done. It's like, we can get rid of that right now.
We ever had displays that were motion activated at Walmart at night when I worked overnights, I would always turn them off, or I would just turn them so that they weren't motion activated. You'd have to there was like a button on them if you wanted to do it, because literally you'd be like stocking the Halloween section every time you walk by the fucking scouts. And they're like, shut the fuck up, man. Gotta hear you 20,000
It was a banjo. Yeah, it was a banjo playing skeleton. And I was like, nope. Yep. Nope.
All right, our final comments are on the newest social media site called Threads. So if you want to follow us, we didn't join that one.
Blue Sky.
We're over on Threads now. So if you want to follow us over there, we're at Dissect That Film there now.
You go for it.
We have comments from Movie Gains, who says, one of the great modern horror movies, injected some life into the genre at a mainstream level. We have Ashley from Lullaby the Fear podcast, who commented, I'm really pumped for you to do this. We were really pumped to start this. We did an episode with Ashley on 1997's Titanic. Ashley, who runs Lullaby the Fear podcast, it's a true crime podcast, and it's fucking fantastic. I don't listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. To be honest, I think hers is the only one I do, and it's fantastic. And she covers so many true crime stories out there. She did an amazing episode on the real life events of the Titanic, and then she joined us to talk about the movie for its 25th anniversary, and it was an awesome time, and she is fantastic. So make sure you check out Lullaby the Fear podcast. And our last comment is from Smiler's Movie Reviews, who said, this might be my favorite horror. The fact of what it's based on makes it have the edge. Thank you, everybody who commented on this episode. I think, to be honest, it's the most comments we've had on an episode in quite a while. Yeah, so thank you very much. I know this is going to be, I feel like compared to like the Pirates movies, I feel like most people have seen a lot of the movies in this franchise. So hopefully we'll be getting a lot more comments down the road. But yeah, next week, we're going to be talking about the second film in this universe, and that is 2015's Annabelle.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one in a while, but
I
hate
possessed dolls. Scary dolls.
It's gonna be a fun adventure. We got Annabelle coming up, and then we have The Conjuring 2 right after that, and we have a special guest on for that episode. But we'll let you guys know who that is next week. Also, we're gonna be, as we do with most of our franchises, we're gonna be sprinkling in solo movies here and there to kind of give us some couple deep breaths, cover something a little bit more not intense as these movies for bits.
I need something. I'm gonna have to go watch cat videos before I go to bed.
Okay, please do.
We're gonna be covering, like I said, we're gonna be covering Godzilla 98 soon. I'm just waiting for my fucking shirt. I ordered a Godzilla 98 shirt so long ago, and I'm just waiting for the company to send them because it was a pre-order. So I'm waiting for that shirt to come in because I said I'm not doing that episode until I have my Godzilla 98 shirt. I have to wear it for the episode. And hopefully we'll have a guest for that one. September and October, we're going to be doing spooky movies as well. We're going to be covering some movies celebrating some important anniversaries, Dan, important. We got Bride of Chucky celebrating 25 years. We're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 that's celebrating 20 years. We're going to be some fun times we're going to be having coming up on the show. We're going to be talking a lot of spooky movies for the next like 3-4 months. It's going to be great. It's not going to be until like December when we're going to be like Christmas time, and then I'm going to pick Christmas horror. We're never going to stop talking about horror movies. We're going to now dissect that horror. We changed our name right now. Fuck everything. No, I'm just kidding, guys.
Make it happen, dude.
Listen, I love talking about horror movies. I know there are a lot of horror movie podcasts out there that literally just talk about horror, and that's awesome. It's, in my opinion, the best genre out there. And I love sprinkling in other genres too. So that's why I can't just focus on one. So, we did the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They didn't, they maybe weren't as popular as when we did the Alien franchise or, the Terminator franchise, which are, did a killing. We're just having fun. We're picking fun movies. And thanks again to Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast for choosing this franchise for us to cover. And make sure to, we're also guesting on some shows. I know this is recorded like 3 weeks in advance, but our episode with Podcast in the Woods on Dead Alive will be out right now. Also, you could check me out on the Flicks and Friend podcast talking about Almost Heroes, which is fun, and some other stuff. It's going to be great. Do we have anything else I'm missing? Oh, also, we do have a new patron.
Yes, thank you.
We got a new patron. Robert Stewart joined our $1 tier. So thank you very much. You'll be getting your episodes early. So hopefully you enjoy that. Thank you so much for giving us your hard-earned cash. We appreciate you very much. Also, we're going to be our monster show is probably going to be out by the time you guys listen to this. So our first couple episodes should be out. So make sure to, if you want, our first episode will be on the main feed, so you guys can kind of get a feel of what the show is going to be. It's going to be kind of similar to this, and then the show will be on our $5 tier going forward. So if you want to enjoy some extra content from us, you can go subscribe to our $5 tier, our Mark Wahlberg Book Club tier at patreon.com/dissectthatfilm. All right, everybody, that's enough talking from me. I'm tired, and I got to go to sleep. So
yes, say yes to everything.
All right. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film podcast, episode 116. We'll see y'all again next time. Hey, do you want to play hide and clap?
No.
Just wash your hands when you're done.